What's up, wave makers? It's me, Mommy Suna.
The baby gotta love me.
My makeup is like half done today because we are going to be going through a video here that one of you guys sent me, I think last night. It's, okay, so basically it is a Seint distributor doing like a half and half face makeup thing where she does regular makeup on one side of her face and Seint on the other side, and then also compares the prices. So first, before I even start doing things to my face, because I'm going to be essentially challenging her because I have Seint makeup. Now, this was sent to me by my dear friend Eve Blondo because she bought this shit and sent it to me because it literally is not good. And this was like, what, like $150 or $200 American just for this and two brushes? Yeah, I used it in a video once. You can watch it if you want to. I'll link it down below. Basically, I'm just giving it another chance. But yeah, they rebranded from Maskcara to Seint a few months ago. It's all the same. The branding is just different now. That didn't work out for me very well the first time. And now this time, you know, I kind of have a video of a lady to watch and follow along with. Before we do anything, let us watch this video. I'll provide my commentary and then we'll go through it. You guys will understand my grievances while you watch it. Also, for this girl not wearing any makeup, well, I mean, besides her eyebrows and her eyelashes, she's so pretty. And I'm sitting over here looking like a sloth. I should make this disclaimer. Normally I would blur out a Hun's face when I do these kind of videos, but because of the topic of conversation here being makeup, and you know, you kind of need to be able to see her face for me to make this video, yeah, I'm not going to blur her face. But I'm pretty sure she's a fairly high up, or at least somewhat successful Seint distributor, so I'm not gonna give her name or anything, but it's not like she's unknown. Yeah, she has almost 40,000 followers on Instagram, and she's all about Seint, so I'm not worried about her face being here. So let's start. This blew my mind. Half face traditional makeup, half face Seint. What you'll notice here is that she is listing the products she's using and giving the prices of those products, and I think you'll notice pretty quickly that she's using really expensive products, and then some of them like you can get at a drugstore. While she'll say, oh, this is like high-end versus Seint, which is also high-end, I mean, not all of it is. Now here she's using freaking Estee Lauder foundation, which $43 for a thing of high-end foundation really isn't that big of a deal. But one thing to remember when we're talking about makeup here is that drugstores are kind of stepping it up in the makeup department, if you know what I mean. I've used a lot of makeup from drugstores that I like, and the only thing that like kind of stops me from doing that these days is because of I want to use makeup that's cruelty-free. But that's not to say that there's no cruelty-free makeup at a drugstore. I will get into that in a minute here. But yeah, she uses a very expensive foundation, applies it with a Marc Jacobs brush that's $48. It literally felt like I was painting, and the smell was disgusting. Like as if painting on foundation is unusual. When it comes to the smell of their stuff, like I have their like foundation here. I'm not sure if it smells good because I have this like very scented palette of like some highlight here, but I don't think that makeup should necessarily always like smell good. I mean, it shouldn't smell like shit, and I've never used Estee Lauder foundation, so I can't speak on the way it smells, but it's high-end, so it shouldn't smell bad. But it also shouldn't be expected to smell like perfume, like Seint shit does. It was so hard to blend out. Like, okay, if the foundation you're using is not working for your skin, by all means, use a different foundation. There's a bazillion different foundations. Now, they would argue, well, just use Seint. Seint works for me. Okay, there's a bazillion different foundations that I'm sure would work better and are not part of a multi-level marketing company. Here she is using Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette for $60 and a Tarte contouring brush for $45. Canadian is what it said, so cheaper than that USD, but anyway. Trying to contour with this high-end Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, trying to contour like as if she's failing. Now, I will say, this Anastasia Beverly Hills contouring palette is a pretty popular contouring palette among makeup artists and booty gurus alike. Now she's using Tarte Shape Tape, which I personally used it. I know my concealer is because your girl needs it. I guess I should add a disclaimer here too. I have genetic dark circles. The Huns who are going to find their ways to these videos like to use ad hominem attacks, and I get comments about my dark circles all the time. They are genetic. I'm also the mother of a 12-week-old baby, so I'm also not sleeping, so they're especially bad these days. That aside, I've had them my whole life, so your ad hominem attacks don't help your your case, honey, but bring them, I guess. Shark Shape Tape is a great concealer. It's worked really well for me, but I have found dupes. Now she's using a beauty blender, freaking $20, as if that is the only beauty sponge that anyone's allowed to use ever. She's using RCMA setting powder, which is also funny to me because RCMA, I believe, is owned by the same people who own Alcone. I forget how they're connected. I think they're just owned by the same people. This is like stage makeup too, though. That's the thing with Alcone, is that I think this is coming from my MLM memories here, but I'm pretty sure that Alcone started because it started in New York and they were providing a lot of stage makeup to Broadway. Lime Life by Alcone happened because they wanted to sell that makeup to the general public in a pyramid scheme type structure. No one's saying that you need to be using stage makeup either for your everyday shit. I mean, I've heard great things about the RCMA makeup. A lot of it is also used in Lime Life by Alcone, which I've said before that I don't mind their products. I used them for a long time because I was a Lime Life hun. But no one is saying that you need to be using this expensive shit. Not that this is even expensive. It was $18 Canadian. She's just kind of slathering it on. Now she's using, this is Physicians Formula, which you can buy at a drugstore. $15 though for a bronzer is kind of a lot. I mean, a lot for a drugstore. And now she's using this gigantic $137 Tom Ford brush because that's necessary. Dude, I have a set of Chanel brushes and it came with 5 brushes, I think, and it was barely over $100. My mom got it for me for Christmas one year, but it was a long time ago. I still use the brushes to this day though, because they're just that good. They're very high quality brushes. But that's Chanel, honey. You do not need to be buying $137 brushes. You don't need to do it. It is so unnecessary. But also, I don't necessarily think that she's using this brush correctly. I'm having a hard time getting color payoffs with these products. No, what you're doing is you're having a hard time getting color payoff on a bronzer using a giant fluffy brush. I would personally say use that brush for face powder, like just powdering large areas. She's trying to bronze with it, which, you know, you do you, if that's what you want to do. But you're gonna get more color payoff with a different brush, is what I'm saying. Also had a hard time creating any dimension, just keep layering and layering expensive products on my face. Well, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing either. The fact that you have to layer products doesn't make it a bad product. Now she's using a $25 Canadian brush with a Tarte blush, which is $38 Canadian, which also I've used Tarte blushes. They're very good. I use them regularly. Creasing already happening. As someone who has used Tarte Shape Tape, if it is creasing, you either use too much or you didn't set it right. And we all saw her setting job. She just kind of like... To me, this particular part isn't a product error, it's a human error. Which, whatever. Not all of us are makeup artists. I'm not a makeup artist, I don't fucking know. But she keeps, like, wiping under her eyes. Like, that's not gonna help. Here's the $38 Becca Cosmetics highlight that she's using with her finger, which doesn't make sense. Like, if you're gonna pay into this idea that she's trying to promote, that, like, look at how expensive it is to use regular makeup that isn't Seint. Why not include a highlighter brush? That's a powder highlight, I'm pretty sure, is what she just did with her finger. You have a $137 Tom Ford brush, but you don't have a brush to do highlight with that you can't add to your total. Anyway, so far I've put on primer, liquid foundation, cream contour, powder bronzer, and blush pressed highlighter. So many textures, chemicals, and no payoff. Half my face took me 10 minutes in actual time. Listen, 10 minutes to do makeup is pretty good. Like, I don't think I've ever done a full face of makeup in 10 minutes. She obviously did half her face, but still, I mean, this is a lot of stuff going on. Like, I don't know, it's definitely not, like, a long time. 10 minutes is nothing. So now she's kind of, like, showing off here what she's done. She says that there's too much texture, too much chemicals, which, guys, everything is a chemical, okay? Why does every hun and every MLM have something to say about chemicals? Young Living likes to promote a chemical-free lifestyle by using just essential oils instead. Bitch, there are chemicals in essential oils. Like, it makes no sense. That's a stupid argument. Obviously, there are some ingredients that you should stay away from when you're buying makeup, and usually you don't run into those ingredients when you're buying more high-end makeup. I always say, as long as you're not buying from Wish, you're probably good from a, like, health standpoint, or, like, fake makeup and stuff, you know. As long as you're buying from a trusted brand, you're probably okay in most cases. The texture thing that she's complaining about, dude, first of all, I didn't really see it in this video. Maybe it's just because you can only see it in real life, but didn't look that bad to me. It just didn't look blended, which, again, many of these products I've used before, and I've never had an issue with blending in in that way, in the way that she has. Sounds to me like it's human error. I'm not trying to knock her makeup skills because she's beautiful. She did an okay job. Anyway, so now she's gonna start getting into Seint makeup, listing all the products she uses here. And let's just watch her. She's priming here using a kind of beauty blender thing, which I believe she gets from Seint also. She has this double-ended brush that's $38 and a color correcting before she does foundation. Now, she didn't even color correct before she did foundation on the other side. So like if you're going to make this video, why not add a color corrector on the other side? It's only gonna add to your total. It's gonna add more money. She's using this contour shade is what it said on the picture, but she's using it to color correct instead to combat redness. It looked a little kind of purple, so now she's going over with highlight. Oh, it said highlight, but she's using it as another color corrector. So far she's already used 3 products, a primer and 2 color correctors. This is another contour shade, which looks super dark. Doesn't that look dark? But it doesn't look dark when she puts it on. Our contour has coverage, so no need to layer. I don't think that it's a bad thing to layer. I think it's actually kind of nice to have the option to do a little less and then, you know, layer and give yourself a little more if you want. What is that? I think it says highlight? Accentuator, maybe? I'm not sure. I can't really read what it says, but candlelit. I'm wondering what I have here, because candlelit sounds familiar. This is moonlit. It might just be a different shade of foundation. Ah! I just poked my finger into this. I can't get it out of the... Okay, I guess it's not really worth it. Now I just have like perfumey highlight all over my fingers. No big deal. But she's using this main highlight, aka foundation, which in Seint terms, that doesn't translate to everyone else. We don't say foundation is main highlight, you know? If anything, people will use like maybe like a lighter concealer or something to do it, which, you know what, you do it your own way, that's fine. But this is just another product that she's slathering on here. This is Moonlit. This is the one that I have, and she's using this for an accent foundation. Okay, so she's used 2 foundations, like 2 color correctors, a concealer, so much. This looks like a bronzer. Still using the same brush, which isn't anything to really brag about. Are you not cleaning it off in between? Oh, here's the highlight that she was, or the concealer that she was using. I thought she had used it already. Using the same brush, but the other side of it. Now, okay, this pink grapefruit blush slash lipstick thing I have in this palette, so that's cool. It can be a lip or cheek thing. NYX has a line. Oh, I don't know if they still have it. I have it from Ipsy sent it to me as a sample, but it's like a whipped something that you can use as a lipstick and a blush. So I mean, if you really are trying to go for that, like, look at, you can do all these different things with this one product, it's like, yeah, there's a bazillion of them out there. Seint is not the first one to come out with a multi-purpose product, I guess. Lip plus cheek, blush, lipstick, and even eyeshadow. Well, yeah, I mean, you can use any blush as eyeshadow if you really wanted to. Okay, no, some blushes are not eye safe. But in general, I mean, if you wanted to, you totally could. Just be careful if you're gonna do that. And then she throws on mascara, which she never says which mascara this is, but then she uses a highlight. Okay, illuminator. That's what this is here, but it's also like a perfume. This is why I got so confused when I was reviewing their products last time, because like, they'll call something one thing, and then it's like also used as something else. And it's like very confusing. So I guess, you know, if you're gonna be involved in Seint, you gotta kind of learn the terminology. But you know, that highlight isn't all that blinding, but I guess you don't have to have a blinding highlight. Anyway, so she says she uses $504 plus tax of traditional makeup, which is a lot of money. Tons of chemicals and texture. Traditional is so cakey, still not blended out, and so much texture. Dude, that's an application issue. That's not a product issue. I have used products that are cakey, but I don't use them anymore, you know? Any product can be cakey if you put too much of it on, including Seint. I've tried it, honey. But it seemed to me like she wasn't even really trying to do a good job on that side. Seint for my entire full face, brush, perfector sponge, stay spray, $205. Okay. The products that I'm gonna use for my traditional makeup side, I added it all up. Everything that I'm gonna use today was $117. So what I'm going to be doing and showing you can, first of all, look good, and also does cost less than Seint. Yeah, let's get that slow motion, honey. Seint looks like skin enhancing my features in all one texture. I don't know, dude, because when I used Seint last time, and you know what, we'll do it again, but it made me look older. Just from watching the video, you can tell that I look older. Let me tell you about how much older I looked in person, honey. Let me help work with your budget and build your dream makeup palette. Are you ready to save time, money, and hands, and use only 11 to 16 ingredients? So that's where we're at. She did time it and said that she got this makeup look done in less than 3 minutes. The reason I'm not going to be timing it is because, first of all, I'm filming a video and speaking, so that's just going to make the time longer, but also my baby's waking up. When he decides he needs me, I'm gonna have to stop. I already did my mascara and my eyebrows like this chick did. Hi, it's a different day. So basically what happened was I filmed this part of the video very zoomed into my face yesterday when I filmed, and I went through and I was editing, and then I got to the footage of me doing the makeup and it just was kind of unusable. Like I had cut off the bottom of my face, so like I was doing makeup here.
Oh, no.
I'm just gonna redo. Let's put it this way. My experience, again, with Seint was not a good one. So maybe, you know, I could say yesterday was a practice round and now really we're gonna try to make this shit good. So let's get into the makeup. Now this side of my face we're gonna do traditionally, just like she did first. We're gonna start with the primer. The primer I picked today is No Portland Prime Essence, which you can grab for, I believe, 23 doll hairs. So the next products that we're using, first of all, a beauty blender. Now this is not the original beauty blender. I actually got this in an 8-pack on Amazon for $5, and let me tell you, I have used the regular original beauty blender for $20 freaking dollars. They're the same. It is so unnecessary to spend $20 on one sponge when you can get 8 of them for $5 on Amazon, and they're just as good of quality. Like, look, it's squishy, it's soft, it's perfect. I'm sorry guys, I just realized that my mic was having issues, but I have it fixed now. So for foundation today, I'm actually going to use e.l.f. foundation. Now this is 6 doll hairs, and I'll tell you the reason why I decided to buy e.l.f. It's because it's cruelty free, and a lot of drugstore brands are not cruelty free, but e.l.f. is. Not to mention though, e.l.f. is super cheap, and I'll show you right now, e.l.f. does a great job. You don't need to spend 40 whatever dollars on Estee Lauder. It is so unnecessary. So yeah, that's the other thing too, is that she was using a foundation brush, which she had a beauty blender that she used later for concealer, and it's like, what are you doing? Just use the beauty blender. I know that there are two different kinds of people who like to apply their foundation with a brush and people who like to apply their foundation with a sponge. I think applying it with a brush just is so streaky. No matter what product you're using, I highly prefer a sponge. Next, for concealer, Morphe. This concealer is $10 and it works just as good as Tarte Shape Tape. I've been using it for like, I don't know, maybe 2 years now. And obviously, with someone with dark circles like mine, I'm very picky about concealers. Again, you don't have to go buy a super expensive one. I'm gonna set my face with the Maybelline Fit Me powder. Now, I will not be buying this again, and it's not because it doesn't work, because it's $8 and it works great. Maybelline is not cruelty free, and since I've decided to make the switch to cruelty free makeup in my life, I won't be purchasing it again. But there are plenty, again, of other companies that don't charge an arm and a leg for setting powder. Okay, so for bronzer, blush, and highlight, she used 3 different products, obviously amounting to more money spent. I'm using the Too Faced Natural Face palette. Yes, this is a face palette that comes with all 3 of those for $45. You do not need to go spend a bunch of money on multiple products. I mean, you can, and that's not to say either that you can't find decent blush and highlight and contour and bronzer at a drugstore, because you can. And then for brushes, these 2 that I picked out from my collection are from Crown Cosmetics. I think I got these out of a BoxyCharm, if not Ipsy. They might have been an exclusive because I looked on their website and I couldn't find these exact brushes, but there is a set of purple brushes on there that I think is $20. Comes with 7 brushes, and these 2, or ones that look very similar to these anyway, are in that. Plus, you know, you get 5 more brushes on top of it for $20. So, let's see. You don't need to spend $40 on a contour brush and then $137 to bronze. Like, you don't, it's so unnecessary. I also am not a cream contour user, or really a cream product user at all, which obviously this woman was. And that's fine, we all have our preferences. But the point of her video was like, do you want to have a pretty face? Well, if you're not with Seint, you need to spend $500 for it. And it doesn't even freaking matter what products you're using, dude, as long as, you know, if the results are similar. Just because I'm using powder products and she used cream, I mean, it really doesn't matter. We're talking about the results here. So that is why I chose the products that that I did. I also made the mistake yesterday of following her video while I was filming and doing things in the order that she did them. And I think that was, you know, a mistake because it just didn't look good. That's just not how I do my own makeup, you know? I mean, come on. She complained about texture and all this shit. Like, I mean, so far, tell me if you see a bunch of crazy texture on my face. You don't. Let's take this crown brush with pink blush, which also I like barely tap into this. Like, you want to talk about not using a shitload of products. You don't have to. I literally just like barely tapped into this because this stuff is so pigmented. She also didn't really bring her brush onto her cheek. She kind of left it back here, which is fine if that's what you want to do. I usually bring my blush forward, so that is why I'm doing it this way, and I will be doing it on the Seint side as well. And then for highlight, she used her finger, so just for the sake of not throwing in an extra brush for highlight, I'm just gonna go in with my finger like she did, which I guess works. I mean, to me, I'd rather do this with a brush. Unless this was a cream highlight, I wouldn't be using my finger to do it. It just doesn't like buff it out enough for me. I guess, I mean, it gets the product on there, so there's that. And I'm gonna go ahead and do my inner corner, which she did not do in her video, but I'm going to because that's what I do. And there we go. There's the side of my face that is no MLM makeup, much cheaper than $500, almost 20% of the price that she quoted, and this is where it got us. I can zoom you in and we can look at my skin together so you can see that there's not like a ton of texture. And I do admit that I have better skin than most. Like, I know I have good skin. I mean, come on. Texture who, honey? Now, her method definitely varied a bit from what I would normally do to my own face, but since she is a Seint expert, I'm gonna follow her tutorial on her side of the face. Now, she starts off with a primer, which I do not have from Seint. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to use a primer. I'm going to use the primer that I used on the other side of my face just because basically it's a double-edged sword. I could either say, yes, I did use primer on this side of my face, and the Seint representatives are going to go, well, your makeup didn't work because you didn't use Seint's primer, meh, meh. And then if I didn't put primer on my face, they'd go, your makeup didn't work because you didn't use a primer. So it's like, there's no winning with these people. So I decided to go the, what I feel to be the most safe route, and to use a primer, even though it's not the one that they would prefer that I use. As a reminder, I don't have her cream contour that she puts underneath her foundation either, so I'm not going to do that either, but that's not something I would normally do in my regular makeup routine anyway. This part, she's doing a color correct purple under eye using what looks to be a brush like this. Now again, this is a Seint brush. And guys, what I have to say about these brushes is that it looks nice, right? It looks nice and shiny. It looks like it should be heavy. No. It's not. It like literally this brush weighs just as much as this brush. This is double-ended. This one should be heavier, but it just doesn't feel to be that way. And these are cheap. I'm sorry. They're cheaply made. They're very, very light. They don't feel high quality at all, and you pay like 30 bucks for these. Anyway, since she is doing some color correcting under her eye, I know I only have this one shade. It's like their foundation shade, I guess. This stuff is so thick, man. And I'm thinking that these are all the same like product in the way that like, because they're all named similar things. If they're anything like Lime Life, which Lime Life has very similar products to this, they come in pans, they're like more of a cream. They say you can melt them down and stuff and blah, blah, blah. Their claim is that they use more pigment in their products than anyone else, pretty much. I think it was like 50% with Lime Life, so maybe it's something similar to this. And you can tell there is a lot of pigment in this, but to me, I'm gonna tell you right now, the texture of these products are just not it. It's so thick. Let's just continue and see what she's doing here. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Okay, so now she's contouring her forehead. Now the reason I'm gonna wait to do this is because, oh, she says our contour has coverage, so no need to layer. So remember that. I don't have a cream contour. I only have this powder shade, so I'm not going to go underneath foundation with it because that wouldn't make sense. This is Candlelit. Okay, so this is the main highlight, aka foundation. So what she's doing is she's putting it in all those highlighted areas. So that's what we're gonna do. And I know she has a different brush than I do, but just for consistency's sake, I would like to use the same brush. Like I said, very, very thick going on. What Seint likes to claim is that they're so light. Like it's more of a natural look. I don't know, honestly, I don't get that from Seint. I really don't. I'm just gonna blend this a little into this cheek area so that when I do the contour, it has something to stick to. This shade is definitely a lot lighter. This side of my face is gonna look darker. This literally is just much lighter. Using very minimal product. I will admit, yeah, you don't really have to use that much product with this stuff. Who has an accent foundation? Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave me a comment and tell me if you have an accent foundation. I don't. I have a foundation. That contour palette, the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that she had before, like some people will use that and contour and add dimension with that, but like that's a contour palette. You don't call it a foundation. I don't know. It just seems extra. She's blending in that contour that she had underneath. Okay, now she's bronzing. And notice the brush that she's using to bronze here. It is much smaller than the Tom Ford $137 brush that she used on the other side of her face. So again, there's a lot of inconsistency there. Like I said before, you're going to miss out on a lot of color payoff with a brush like that. And I did wipe off this brush before contouring with it. I do believe that this particular brush is the contour brush, this little guy here, which is fine. I mean, whatever, if that's what you want to do. Now, I will say, I don't see anything necessarily wrong with this contour or bronzer shade. I don't know what this is supposed to be. It's just like a matte brown, but I don't mind it so much. It's nothing special, but how she said, oh, you don't need to layer. Notice that I just went in with my second layer. And since the foundation on this side of my face is so light, which obviously isn't Seint's fault because I didn't buy this stuff for myself, but I kind of want to go a little heavier handed with the bronzer on this side of my face just so it can match the other side. Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to hate on this particular product. It's fine. Nothing special, but it's fine. Now, she doesn't set her foundation. I'm like, how do you do that? Because I'm already starting to crease by my smile lines. I'm not creasing on this side. There's like no setting powder. And I'm like, how? Because it's just greasy if you don't. Bragging about still using the same brush here. I mean, I was still using the same brush too that whole time. So I guess we at least have that going. Okay, so now she's using Sunlit, which is a highlight slash accentuator is what it said, but she's using it as concealer. So, I mean, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use what I have as concealer. The stuff is super thick. And also, I mean, super thick, yes, but super pigmented, I will admit. But with thickness, and especially for people like me who really need the coverage under their eyes, it's not really a good thing. Because sometimes I need to layer, and it's like you put one thick product on, and then you put another thick product on, and then you're just getting cakey. And her whole thing was like, we're not cakey. Now, again, at this point in my makeup routine, I would set under my eyes. She did not do this. She says that there's no creasing, but I'm like, how? I don't believe it. Okay, so now she's going in with the pink grapefruit, which is the same exact one I have here. This brush, I'm pretty sure, was labeled as the blush brush. Well, she's not using this brush. She's using a different brush. I have had issues with this blush every time I've used it. Look, it looks like it should be pigmented, right? Like it's super duper pink, right? Trust me, it does not stay this way. It might look super pink right now. I'm not gonna add any more to it, but I'm also not gonna touch it because I'm telling you right now, like I feel like this side has like a nice natural pink-ish, I guess. This side is like extremely pink, but also it doesn't stay this pink. That's why I like overdo it. You can also use this as a lipstick, which I don't know, YOLO, let's just put it on my whole mouth. I don't know. She doesn't wear lipstick in this video, but I don't remember how this performs as a lipstick, so I'll just put it on. Yeah, like it's not a bad lip color, but I will say it's a little drying. There's no moisturizer going on in it at all. If you're gonna say that you can use your shit as a lip product, like it probably should have a little bit of moisturizing. That's just my opinion. Dry lip crew over here. And now she's doing a highlight with her finger. Illuminator, yeah. So that's what this is. She was using her pinky to do it, so I'll just do the same thing. Here's the thing with this illuminator. It also is labeled as a perfume. I know, it makes no sense to me. What are you trying to do? Make your face smell good? I don't get it. It does smell good. I would wear this scent as a perfume, but I'm like, well, what's the point of it being a highlight then? The one thing I will say about this particular highlight slash illuminator, it's not really buildable because it's very greasy. So then she says here, $504 is what she used on the traditional side of her face. Tons of chemicals and texture. Traditional so cakey, still not blended out, and so much texture. I resent that. This shows me that like I really don't think that she was making a fair effort to the traditional side of her face. Like the whole, I was trying so hard to make this product work, and it's like, I just don't get how you can say that like everything on this side would take effort and everything on this side doesn't. Because I felt like I had to use more effort to blend all this together than I did for this side. I don't know, like powders just blend easier in my experience anyway, but you know, again, we all have different experiences. Remember what she said about how their contour has so much pigment you don't need to layer it. The contour shade that I put up here, that I put like 3 layers on, is already faded. Look at how much more contoured this side of my head is than this one. It just makes no sense. None of it makes any sense. Seint for my entire full face brush perfector sponge stay spray, $205. Oh, so she did use a stay spray? She didn't show that. See, that's the other thing with powder, is I always use a setting spray on top of it. I just didn't this time because I didn't see her do it, but I guess if she did it, then did she use one on the traditional side of her face? I don't know. That definitely helps with the more powdery, textury look if that's what's going on. But still, she spent $205 on this side of her face and $504 on this side of her face. And to me, I'm like, I don't understand how you even did that. Did you guys notice that the pink blush is fading too? It's not as pink as it used to look anymore, huh? It's just, it's so weird. These products are weird. You know, maybe they would say, this is the 3rd time I have given these products a chance. And I did this following a tutorial, essentially, of this girl. It's just, it still just doesn't work for me. If I touch this, it feels greasy. This side does not. This side feels dry. This side feels greasy. Like if I were to just like came right off. It's like, don't you have to set this? Like, set it with something. I don't know. Her setting spray. What kind of setting spray is going to make literally like cream makeup not feel greasy afterwards? Maybe I'm just naive, but like, damn. I'm gonna try to zoom you in and you can look at this side of my face and I can show you kind of what I'm talking about here. I'm also nursing a baby, so I can't get super close. The difference between my eyes, you can definitely tell. But I feel like if I set this, you know what, let's set it with a powder. It looks shiny and that doesn't work for us dark circled people. I need to put you down, sir. Okay, here, now I can get closer. See, but now it looks cakey. Clearly, this kind of makeup does not work for me. It's on my face, so I guess it works enough, but like, I don't know, like I got creases right here. My forehead is more creasy on this side than this side. Like, it's just, we want to get this stuff to stay, we powder it. We want to get this to stop creasing, we powder it. But then if you do that, it gets cakey. I don't know, quite frankly, I'm not really pleased with the results. All the Seint makeup that I have was, from what I remember, in the ballpark of like $150 to $200, which is just this with the 2 brushes I was sent. That's the end of our makeup off that she didn't volunteer for, but I did. Listen, if you're someone who likes Seint, good for you. Like, I guess keep using it if you want, as long as you're okay with paying into a multi-level marketing company that preys on vulnerable people and can bankrupt people and destroy relationships. If you're okay with that and giving money to that kind of business structure, then go for it, I guess. If anyone has to say like, Savannah, why didn't you just buy the products that she used so that it's a fair comparison? It's like, because I don't want to pay into that. Wow, I just scratched my eye, and because I didn't set the side of my nose, like it left a mark. Like, okay, I can't even scratch my face without my makeup coming off. I'm not down to give money to that kind of business. I don't want to contribute to it. The reason I even have their makeup in the first place is because someone else sent it to me who bought it thinking it'd be good, and it sucked, and they didn't like it, so they sent it to me. But no, I would never actually buy it myself. Anyway, my son's getting a little stinkery, so let's thank my patrons and my members. The biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to Fallon Lowry, Sabrina Franklin, Julia Nieberdowski, Amanda McMahon, Katrina Rosemarick, Elizabeth Wyatt, Eve Blondo, Karina Winman, Maria Burchett, Meredith Nakata, Molly Wasilewski, April Lindblom, Boris Geller, Daniel Urena, E. Higgins, Erica Louder-Craddock, Evan Adler, Jerry Duncan, Justin Kelsey, Kelly Creffield, Kim Cartwright, Laura Lynn Martin, Maddie Darley, Rachel McHenry, Samantha Jackson, and Tuesday the 13th, and to the rest of my wonderful patrons and my members, thank you so much for being here and for being you. Even if you're not a patron or a member of mine, still thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you want to become a supporter of mine in the way that you just heard me list off that list of people, including like a postcard club, a Discord server, all that, you can go to patreon.com/SavannahMarie to join Patreon, or if you'd rather join YouTube, there's a join button right underneath this video. So your support means the world to me, so thank you so much. Also, I'm not going to be doing a live stream this Friday night just because I am due to get my COVID vaccine at 2 o'clock on Friday. So, yay! But because of that, just in case I'm not feeling good or anything like that, I don't want to like schedule it and be like, this is happening, and then at the last second be like, never mind, I'm sick. I might be totally fine, who knows? I'm usually pretty good with vaccines, but we'll just see what happens. But I don't want to plan anything if I'm not going to feel good. But yay for vaccines. I'm very excited. Keep making waves, babes, and I will smell you guys later. Don't buy MLM makeup, but also especially not Seint, because it's not that great and it's overpriced. Okay, bye! Smell you later!